Hello.
My goodness! What a fantastical day it is for a murder! Welcome back to Shots with That Number, everybody. This is
I'm sorry, Rory, but all I heard in my head was, what a wonderful day to be up with the sun.
The sun!
Well,
Alright.
have you free of you, George?
What a wonderful day to be up for some
some
murder!
If I only had a weapon. But you know what they say? The pen is mightier than the sword. Anyway, Stars with That Number, Stormy Dragon Tavern, Glove Molotov. You know the gist. Play a game, shall we? I have to explain some stuff. So, the party went into a spoopy spaceship that turned out to not be that spoopy. It was actually in remarkably good repair, except it was suffering from entropy, and the power was gradually failing because, you know, these things happen. On board the ship is an alien artificial intelligence that goes by Nucleus. For some reason, based on the previous programming that they had received, they are unable to get themselves out of the predicament that they and their ship are in because of a logical catch-22 of two of their different directives clashing, and they can't resolve the clash. It's quite unfortunate because they're both like prime directives. So they made an offer to you to help avoid the absolutely calamitous circumstance of this ship going out of drive space and cracking Yakuta like an egg. You must prove yourself worthy to this vessel and the species that birthed it by undergoing a series of trials. The first was combat against unusual creatures. All of them looked very similar, but each individual one seemed to be sporting a unique ability. One was able to create sonic blasts by yelling, another had really hot horns.
Don't worry, we're not saying anything, Rory. We're not saying anything.
Hot horns.
A third could jump really high, and you didn't see what the fourth or fifth could do that was especially special, except slam you with those horns. After the combat was resolved and various hazardous drugs were administered, Charles, the second trial was actually that of intelligence, in which Nucleus offered to each of you a genetic boon. Basically, the opportunity to be beneficially mutated in a way that you best saw fit. These boons are temporary and will be taken back at the conclusion of your trials, but it was meant to be an exercise in seeing what you potentially were anticipating and how it is that you thought you could better overcome the trials ahead. Lockie elected to be harder, stronger, faster, baby, and has walked away with an additional +1 to all of his physical traits. He has grown to be a grand total of 8 feet tall, and is sporting a multi-layered grill of triangle-shaped shark's teeth inside his mouth, which is giving him a little bit of a lisp as he speaks.
Would he be any more Aussie?
He could lose 1 or 2 teeth.
That just makes him a Collingwood supporter.
Then get gold
Wow.
ones. Okay, next, Dr. Charles. He wanted more psychic power, and that power was granted to him.
Shock horror.
He was awarded a +1 to his wisdom score, and also walked away with a row of phantasmal spikes running down his head and down the back of his spine. And due to their phantasmal nature, these spines are visible through his spacesuit. Finally, Catalina wanted to be fast and agile and able to use her speed and sneakiness to assist her friends. And so she was granted a +1 to her dex and had her movement speed doubled, while also having portions of her physiology reshaped to be more slender, more agile, and more able to support this, as well as both of her arms looking rather more reptilian, sporting small claws at the end of each finger, with metallic scales now running up her arms. And that is where we left off. But that is not the end of this test, as Catalina passed out during this experience, and Dr. Charles ran into the chamber to pull her out. You were, however, able to shake her awake, so we come back in with Catalina flying flat on her back, with Charles standing over her, concerned.
I just sort of like tink 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 on the visor of his spacesuit.
I was gonna say that would have worked on her face as well.
Alice?
Yeah, I bumped the mute button, I'm sorry. Yes, so Catalina will slowly wake up. Ah, did I faint again? This is becoming a bad habit.
Apparently. How are you feeling? As I start pulling out my bioscanner, this would be like,
Everything aches, but not so bad from last time. Feels about the same. Less, maybe even. I can move. Okay.
Dr. Charles, you are used to seeing the musculature of and bone structure of humans.
We got raided. Shazoo!
greetings.
And so as you run the bioscanner over Catalina, you can see that her joints now bear an unusual similarity to that of maybe a cheetah. Her entire lower half seems very efficiently reconfigured for speed. And just in general, you're seeing a quite rapid transmission of information from the motor control centers of the brain to the rest of her body. Her reflexes have been bolstered as well. And you also see that she has metallic scale and reptilian arms and hands.
No, he wouldn't. Unless the bioscanner can see beyond visual
Yeah, it can
wearing a suit.
You can see the makeup of your body, so
Uh-huh.
the
You can see all
claws on your hand would be visible. I'm just gonna be like, huh. That's different. What do the joints look like?
Lots of ball joints. very heavily reinforced around the joints with muscle to maintain control.
I don't think you're going to be having that joint problem till you revert back. If you want to revert back.
You think? She's gonna try and actually get up now.
Okay. This feels so weird.
Oh, this feels so strange. I don't like. Maybe I.
You are able to plant your feet flat on the ground from sitting and basically just lift yourself up with just your legs.
No, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Okay, this is kind of cool. I can get used to this. Okay. I'll be alright. I'll be fine. It's fine. It's okay. This is a little dizzy spell of fainting. Don't worry about it, doctor.
If you feel unwell, let me know. At which point he'll sort of like wander over to Lockie and just sort of be like, me.
He big, he thick, he got shark teeth?
Shark teeth. Ooh, ah.
Just kind
I
of looking
tried to
down at you
resist
like,
the urge.
"What's wrong, Doc?"
Sup, doc?
Your teeth are funny.
Yes, bit weird to talk to.
I could imagine.
And
There's
everybody,
a lot more of them in your face.
and everybody around you has shrunk.
At that point, Charles is going to be like,
To be fair, he's used to looking down on people.
what physical...
Ooh, that tickles.
Now, physically, are there any...
Yes. Your skull has changed shape. It is more elongated at the back, and portions of your brain have reconfigured to be more efficient. And like, as you kind of feel around, you like pass your hands across these phantasmal spines, and even though they are intangible, you can still feel a noticeable shift in temperature as you pass your hand over that spot.
That's
Older.
weird.
Mm-hmm.
Even through the spacesuit, I can feel that.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, he'll pull out his compad and like switch it to selfie mode and just be like,
Mm-hmm.
the hell? Right. I'm just going to put that away now. Let's see what happens. These tests better be worth it.
My turn, says Professor Hotaka, who just moves past, like moves as best he can past the hulking form that is Lockie,
I'm so concerned what he wants.
goes to enter the chamber.
Now, are we hearing outside anyone's requests, or is it just inside the bubble?
Just inside the bubble, you don't hear what people ask for, what are in there.
Catalina's gonna start like moving around, bouncing around, just testing her new body.
Okay. Roll me athletics with dexterity.
Two to 6, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I forgot to pull up my character sheet. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's at least 7.
Alright. You don't fall over.
But you're walking around with a very ungainly gait.
Mhm.
8. It was an 8.
8? Okay.
I take there was a hair flip thing.
There was, in fact, a hair flip regime.
You are studious enough that you have seen reptiles from a variety of planets, including ones that came from Earth, and they walked in a certain way at times. When they were trying to run across water, there's this kind of wide-toed, like, step, turn out, step, turn out, step, turn out, step, turn out kind of motion. And as you're trying to walk, you're trying to force yourself to walk how you normally would, but that isn't working. And as soon as you turn your brain off and just start choosing a location and allowing your body to walk yourself towards it, you look down and see that your body is naturally adopting that kind of like step out gait. It's very disconcerting.
She looks down and goes, I'm not going to think about that too much. And keeps walking around, just trying to get used to it.
As Catalina is experimenting, Charles and Lockie, you see Professor Hotaka has entered the chamber. He is conversing inaudibly with Nucleus, and the experience begins once more.
Can I
Brain
attempt
swell.
to read his lips with my wisdom and perception?
You can certainly try.
Let me just clean out some of these dice so I've got some space to roll.
I'm just going to play cartoons in front of Lockie's visor, like, and they're all about sharks too. Like,
Shit.
Okay.
To be fair, he's probably never actually seen a shark.
That is...
Good point.
What is my perception? Perception's a 0, and my wisdom's a 2, so that makes it a 12.
Oh my god. Okay.
I rolled a 10.
Hang on. About time to put things in my mouth. Hang on. No.
Because I know he'll have to be speaking English, because it's the only language we've taught the ship.
Yes. So, just thinking about the mad thing, I'm going to. I'm just going to try an experiment here. So, Christian, I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to very
Oh
overtly
god, why?
say what he is saying. And just because I'm curious, I want you to. I want to see if you can figure out what I am saying. Okay?
Yeah, but I'm not as wise as Charles.
No, just hear me. I'm curious to see how this goes.
Something about most powerful creature. Or something like that.
Well
I
then,
said, show me your most powerful races.
good job.
Sorry, yeah, I can read lip.
I can also read lips, that's why I was looking away.
Impressive, yeah. You basically see that. And then you would probably see various holograms popping up of different creatures around him. What you find very, very disconcerting is he takes special interest in a hologram of a creature you've seen before.
Oh god, no.
Small, floating tentacles.
No!
He's a...
Oh my
You
god,
know what
not
is-
the blob!
You know what is so fucking funny about this? Is when he went in there, I was about to say it'd be funny if it fucks up and he turns into a slime or something. Close enough!
swear to God.
He is looking at the hologram of a blub with great interest.
For our audience who doesn't know what a blub is. Alright, care to share?
The space jellyfish.
Yes,
Space jellyfish that feeds on electricity.
indeed. Which can be especially dangerous given that everyone's spacesuits and a lot of their weapons run on electricity. So when the party encountered them the first time, their attacks didn't do a lot of damage, but were actively draining the power cells of the party's spacesuits.
That just sounds... No. Just no.
They also head crab apply directly to the forehead.
And they can teleport. And they can teleport through bolts of lightning.
Yes.
So, continuing to read his lips, you can tell that he is asking follow-up questions about this creature, requesting to hear its abilities. And he seems to be specifying how he wishes for this to be enhanced in this way. He doesn't want to lose his physical form. He wants his human form to be augmented by these abilities without losing his own physiology.
He does know that they're getting taken back, right?
Yes. So he makes this request, and the process begins to wind up. Space, magic, science, pew pew pew! Lasers, bright lights, energy is converging in the center of this chamber. He is lifted from the ground, and I'm going to roll for him to see if he passes out. Actually, he doesn't! I'm genuinely surprised. Good job, buddy.
I was going to say we could leave him there.
Why do you guys hate him? He's cool.
We don't... yeah, we do hate him. Sorry.
Why?
I don't hate him. I just think we could have a lot more peace and productivity without him there.
Okay.
I would just be happy if he committed not alive. Nah, to be fair, I actually like him.
He's so annoying.
You just got mad because he wasn't being helpful during combat.
Not how he was being completely fucking useless.
So annoying.
He's one of those scientists that give scientists bad names.
Okay.
Oh yes, Mr. Drug Addict.
He's got a point.
Hey, motherfucker! If not for my drug addiction, that was not my choice, we would have been in a lot of trouble in quite a few different situations.
Yeah, sure. Blame somebody else for your own problems.
I can literally, blame someone else because they didn't give me warning about what their fucking psychic link to me would do.
Mm-hmm. I know. Anyway. Professor Hotaka is put down on his feet, and as he staggers out of the chamber, you can see through his space helmet there are visible changes to him. He has kind of situated around the sides of his neck and going up his back a big jellyfish-looking sack that's kind of buzzing with electrical energy as he stands there, and emerging from it, kind of going slightly up his face and down his neck, you can see slender tentacle-like formations.
He's literally
kind of
turned into Davy Jones.
I bet, yeah. And so he looks like...
What's the matter? Afraid to get... what the fuck's that?
steps out and goes, "My word. This is fascinating. I can see all of your brain stems."
Oh, yeah, that's not ominous at all.
He's been pretty heckin' blubbed.
After all this time, it was like, oh, blub them. This is why I didn't want to do it.
Those
They
Those
block
are-
themselves.
those tendrils you can see kind of embedded in his skin, going up and down his neck, continue across most of his upper body, like flowing down his arms, across his hands and fingers, and across his torso and back. They kind of terminate a bit below the hips and kind of taper off. But he's packing a lot of juice. He's currently generating far much more power than a normal human being has any right to function.
What does his bioscan say?
I just told you.
Okay, so it's just that he's generating more electricity than he should otherwise.
Mhm.
No, I'm just gonna be like, you might want to keep an eye on your power pack for your spacesuit.
What? Why? How many percent? Oh, this is gonna be fun. I don't have to recharge.
Catalina can just hear all of this from across the way and just like glances over, thinks to herself, "Fucking idiot." Okay, whatever. And keeps going about her business.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
With your super awkward reptilian gait.
Yep.
At this point, Nucleus chimes in and they say, "Well, your choices certainly are very intriguing. Is there anybody else among you who wishes to volunteer?"
I don't think so. Unless the soldiers want to.
The force of soldiers kind of turn towards, like, at this point, like, the soldiers have kind of grouped up a bit. They're chatting amongst themselves. They turn towards you, Charles, and just in rough unison say, "No."
Well, I guess that would be it then.
What about Pim? It isn't fair.
I am not a genetic creature.
However, there was mention of biological nanites.
Indeed, I would like them replicated. All of them.
Interesting. What quantity would you need?
Based on your detailed analysis of Catalina's physiology, I would say her mass.
Of course. This is not something I have ever attempted to do before, nor am I confident it is possible with the present equipment. But I will do my best.
That is all one can ask.
If you could please deposit your sample into the center of the chamber, I will begin to experiment.
Very well.
And you'll see like the pod just eject from Lockie and then skitter over, place a vial portion in there, come back and then slot back into the machine.
That is very creative.
I try.
Right. Allow me to experiment. Little bolts of lightning are arcing down to the chamber from various parts of the containment zone, and energy begins to spiral and build up. However, this seems to be taking a while. You're standing there for several minutes, and Nucleus says, I'm encountering several obstacles. You may want to move on to your next tasks, and I will get back to you.
Upload me some of the issues. I might be able to resolve them during our battle.
Of course. These are the initial obstacles I'm having. Vroom, 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 vroom. Very, very weird, very, very niche stuff, but you've been actively engrossed in this in this specific topic for a while. So roll me tech pre-tech, please, just to see if you can assist them.
All right, let's see if it starts out the night well. Holy shit! It's pre-tech, right?
Yep.
Would you believe me if I told you I just rolled 15?
I'm sorry?
I have a +2 and a +1, so intelligence 1, pre-tech 2, and I just rolled 2 6s.
Good grief. Yeah, you were able to just rapidly, like, snap out a series of fixes and burst it back to them, and they go, oh. Interesting. You must be quite familiar with these with the subject matter.
Alarmingly so, yes.
Well, thank you. This should allow me to move on to phase 2 of my experimentations.
Thank you.
Let the record show that that's probably, I hope that's my only roll of the night. I don't want to do any more rolls, please.
Tough.
That's my only one, yeah. One and done.
So, Nucleus is continuing to experiment, but they say, now, you have 3 more tasks ahead of you. But to begin them, you will have to leave this chamber. And the large doors to your right kind of weirdly iris open and show a corridor beyond. If you would be so kind.
Lead the way, Shark Boy.
Alright, let's do this.
Catalina will follow along.
Fuck you.
What? Oh.
Was it to the left or right, you said, sorry?
Right.
Alright.
That's what you get for saying you got a lisp. Because you do
So
have...
we're going the same hallway that the creatures went down.
Yes. But it's been a while.
We're just playing tag with them now.
Wouldn't that be fun? Haha, tag. Anyway, my brain is distracted. Anyway. As you are proceeding in that direction, Dimitri is actually going to hop back into the big ship thing. And
Might actually be an idea.
though the soldiers elect to, you know what? The soldiers will get back into the ship and basically adopt equidistant gunnery positions on the porthole deck. And Hotaka can't be bothered walking either, so he gets inside. And this vessel begins to fly after you guys.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm going to cut us away back to this. You are walking through various different hallways. You think to yourself, maybe we could go this way or that way, but though you can see obvious doors, none of the ones you can see are open or want to open to you. Occasionally, though, as you approach a doorway, it will open, and you'll hear over the speakers Nucleus say, "Yes, right this way, please." And they are directing you more towards the rear of the ship. You boarded in like around here in the front section and are basically being directed more and more towards the back. And eventually, you make it out into one of the double helix tendrils. You look out, and though these tendrils appear to be solid metal from the outside, from the inside there's a complex series of like portholes, holograms, just surrounding you in every direction, allowing you to see out into space and to the massive planets tethered to the sides of this vessel. You are walking through a shaft that is equally 3 times the diameter of one of those big particle accelerator chambers. It's a huge space you're walking through, and you just these little people walking along the very bottom. Eventually, I think Dimitri would get mad and say, "Oh my God, you idiots! Just get in."
Tracks.
No doubt
Would you do
about
so?
Fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, move in.
He's keen
I-
to move on.
I am currently inside Lockie's machine, so I can't really.
Indeed. So, you all board the vessel and are then able to make a much faster pace towards here. This little, quite Earth-like looking planet. Comparatively quite small. You'd estimate it's maybe a kilometer in diameter. And you approach the stem that's kind of tethering it to the double helix, and you hear over the speakers, "Right, your third task is to travel down to this planet and find the exit."
Find an exit on a planet.
Yes. It is not going to be the path that you arrived through, and I will give you a compass to guide your way. At which point, all of your compads ping in unison, and basically a black screen is visible with just a tiny little blue dot in the center. And as you move it around, the dot does too, and it's just pointing towards the planet, however you aim it.
Do we know what the exit looks like, or we gotta guess?
You appear to be rather intelligent creatures. I will leave the investigation of the planet up to you.
I really wish I did bring my Voyager, but oh well.
I can do scans of the suit.
Well, I guess that's our only option.
Indeed. You shall indeed. Dimitri flies the vessel through the irising open chute, and you fly down towards the planet. It's actually quite disconcerting, your initial approach, because only the very, I mean, how do I describe this? Only the relevant atmosphere is maintained. Like with a planet like Earth, there's the lowest level of the atmosphere, and then it kind of goes up into gradual different layers. Only the layer of atmosphere nearest to the planet is actually being contained.
So there's no stratosphere or etc.
None of that. So though you're expecting it to be potentially a challenging re-entry, there's no burn up, there's no challenge. It's actually a weirdly smooth and fast landing as this vessel comes down towards the planet. As you draw closer, scans indicate that it is very Earth-like in composition in terms of the atmosphere and the biosphere. You can see pools of liquid water. You can see forests. You can see grassland, and you can see creatures moving around on the surface. Though you will have to land to investigate it more thoroughly.
Upon scanning the atmosphere, is it breathable, and is there any trace elements that aren't recognizable with it?
It is breathable. There are some trace elements, but they are all recognizable, and you are a sufficiently well-traveled explorer to know that these trace elements aren't harmful, and this entire atmosphere is well within the parameters for Earth breathable air.
Giles is going to remove his mask.
Okay.
Lockie is not.
Carolina stays in her suit.
Okay.
Pim is gonna play more cartoons.
Oh dear.
And then, upon reaching the planet, gonna stop playing the cartoons and put up on the screen, okay, super serious mode.
You land on the surface of the planet, and people begin to disembark and to dismount, and just generally have a bit of a look around. You're presently standing in the middle of a field. There are occasional trees dotted around. It kind of reminds you a bit of a savanna, where there's just occasional trees and lots of tall grass. And the ship landing kind of partially flattened and smushed out the tall grass with the force of the engines as it put down. What do you do?
Okay, so we have to find our way off this planet, correct?
Find an exit is what he said.
An exit?
Doesn't necessarily mean off the planet.
Indeed. The wording is very important here. Find the exit. Use the compass. I suggest we follow the compass to the letter.
Where is the compass currently pointing?
It is currently pointing down. Like, it seems to be function like a normal compass would work just in a 2D plane, but you kind of spin it around. The compass doesn't seem to be reacting especially well, but if you angle the compass down towards the ground, it reacts.
Lucky just looks at everyone else and just goes, core of the planet? I reckon Vesuvius could do that.
Or we can go and look for a cave or something that doesn't require us to destroy the environment around us.
I do it the lame way. Lucky will turn on his panspectral optics and scan around the area to see if there's any chasms or anything underneath, or anything that's artificial.
Okay. Oh no, I'm getting sugar on the cat.
Why would you do that, Rory?
Because I'm eating.
Not a sentence I was expecting you to say.
I'm eating the residual sugary dregs from the tubes.
Ah, yes. The sugar cat. I remember
Some of them are
that particular candy, yes.
falling on Smooch while I meet you, Smooch. I'm sorry. So, you scan around your immediate vicinity. Roll me a perception check, please.
Okay. I am terrible at perception checks.
I would also allow tactics.
I will go for tactics. Because I actually have a plus to that.
Okay. With wisdom, though.
It's an 8 then.
An 8? Okay. You look around and nothing immediately artificial pops as you are cycling through the various different filters. You do notice, kind of off in the distance, barely visible through the tall grass, are various large heat signatures. Just kind of standing there, gradually moving back and forth.
Can I compare them to the heat signatures of things I've seen previously?
Yeah, sure.
Catalina's also going to have a look around with her various lenses.
Then you too can roll me either perception or tactics.
Probably perception? I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'll check. But either
That's
way,
a solid 4.
Oh no. My condolences. Alice?
9.
9? You see the same creatures as Lucky.
Okay.
They're kind of just hot lumps that you can see through the tall grass. Pardon me.
Alright. Okay.
Alright. What do you do with this information?
I look at Lockie.
Hot lumps. Yep. I'll see him.
You'll see what I see, alright.
Yeah. Something else alive on here. Possibly sentient?
We should be careful.
Well, Doc. You're a smart one. Pick a direction.
Going off orientation of the planet when we arrived,
Uh-huh.
what direction would north be?
North would be... assuming you know a north, the creatures that have been spotted are northeast.
May I? I suggest we find something with water. Water means deepening. Deepening means closer to the core. If we are to find water sources, we could potentially find cave systems. These cave systems could lead to the exit.
That's
Hey,
true.
Catalina, can you get us a bird's eye view?
What? Me? What do you mean?
Jetpack?
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about this.
It's either that or jump really high.
I wonder if I can do that. She's gonna jump, but have the jetpack ready to engage just in case.
Okay. You bend your knees and your ankles and your hips and kind of coil up like a spring, and you kick off. Roll me athletics with dexterity.
Eight.
8? Yeah. You are able to get like a decent solid 2 meters up into the air with a jump.
Okay. If I can avoid engaging the jetpack, I will, because it'll make sound. So she will just. What can she see from up there without the jetpack? Without the jetpack. Just
So
her jump.
You jump 2 meters in the air,
Yeah.
and you look around, and you probably at this distance can see, like, hang on. Yeah, you'll do. I like you. You can see a ridged. Actually, no, it doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I have so many options. So tempting.
Bamboozled. Bamboozled. I call bamboozled.
That's kind of cute.
He's going to put us up against the bunny from Holy Grail.
Oh my god.
Cute as, but the moment we get close to it, it's going to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with this guy. You can see small clusters of unusual red spines kind of poking out the top of the grass. Normally, you would just think, oh, that's just more grass, because the color of the grass in sections are kind of like a greeny reddy color. It's partially green, partially red. But you have your thermal vision, and you see that these little spines are probably just emerging from the backs of these creatures. Aside from that, with your jump, you realize, oh, that's really trippy, because you're quite close to the ground, and yet just jumping up. You know how when you're in a plane and you look out and you can just see like the curvature of the Earth?
Mm-hmm.
You can see that now comparatively close to ground level, purely because of the small size of the planet. It's a bit disconcerting.
That's very disconcerting. Okay.
And I'd say you can probably see that to your southwest, you can see the terrain kind of sloping down in a way which to you does indicate the possibility for pooling water.
Okay. I'll land back down.
Okay.
And
Welcome back. Did you have a nice trip?
it was really strange, you know? This place, you can see the curve of the land. Anyway, it looks like there is slope in this direction, creatures in this direction.
You see any structures or anything?
No, just nature. I can look again.
Nah.
Did you see water?
Let's head out.
No. No.
Very well.
But there is slope, so it's probable that water will be in this direction if there is water.
When you
How-
were looking
how-
at greenery and sorry.
No, go.
When you were looking at greenery and foliage, did you see any trees or moss or specific direction that plants were facing?
Dear.
There are trees, yes. There is the occasional tree, yes. You didn't notice any specifics as being suggested by Pim.
I don't think that is something I can notice from the sky, Pim.
Do we see any rocks around here?
The occasional small pebble. It's pretty smooth, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How big approximately was this planet?
1 kilometer in diameter,
Okay.
roughly.
So we could just, go for a bit of a run.
You,
Do a
It
lap or two.
would not take us very long to search the entire planet, no.
correct.
So can we just
I assume that would be a risk.
choose a direction at random and move as a group?
As I said, I assume that would be a risk. There's no way that this would be a hard test, even harder than the previous one, of which we would give boons if it was as simple as going for a wander.
It won't just be a wonder, but it means we can cover more ground and scan stuff. I've got the Argus web, I can just photograph everything I see.
I agree with Pim. We need to be careful. We don't know what is here. We don't know what is friend or foe. We don't want to risk too much. Let us be careful.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you're proceeding towards the gradual downhill slope. Okay. The rest of the security detail are electing to stay on the vessel, and Dimitri is kind of just hovering above you guys. They all appear to be quite on edge. All the guards are just in the gun holes, have their weapons out, strapped in, while anyone who cares to look up at Professor Hotaka, he's just chatting with Jin and with Dimitri about who knows what. You can't really hear what's being said. But you proceed further in that direction, and as you move, more of those dots, the red lumps of thermal vision, are beginning to come into view. Initially quite far away, but they are walking kind of in the same direction as you guys, as though your paths are going to intersect. And as you continue to walk, you realize why. You are proceeding towards a watering hole of sorts. There's a kind of a divot in the terrain with a large pool of water in the center. There's a variety of these creatures kind of just standing around it, and now that you have a more clean view, I will show you what they look like. I'm going to drop this in Discord chat, glove chats.
Oh, you... Okay.
I'll put it in the stars with that number
Yeah.
stream chatter as well. So these things,
Are they thick?
they stand about 2 meters tall, have these long weird mouths, and those that you can see grazing, that they're just kind of walking around going and they're just hanging around, chewing on grass. Others are just hanging around, enjoying some water. These look like just calm, grazing herbivores, just chilling.
I am going to float my bioscanner over.
Okay. What range can you achieve with your telekinesis?
As long as it's within visual range.
Okay, that's actually not bad. Yeah, you float the bioscanner over. Vroom, vroom, vroom. The creatures don't seem to react to your scans, and once it returns, you can see why. These creatures are exhibiting many physiological similarities to the common earth cow. They're just big, meaty, grazing animals. They have multiple stomachs. Their brain activity isn't that impressive. They're just big and meaty and probably strong if provoked, but aren't really.
So they're space
Interesting.
cows.
That is the nearest analogy you can come to for these creatures, yes.
May I suggest scanning the water for particulates, as there may be a creature inside there. If there are traces of blood, it might be carnivorous.
Can everybody please roll me a perception check?
Oh dear. Oh, actually, that's 2 5s.
I'm currently having a stare off with Fidget. Give me a second.
That is
-1, minus another 1. That
For me,
is
it's a 9.
that is 0 for me.
Oh my god!
Pim is
2 6s and 2 1s.
That makes sense, actually.
that's an 11 for myself.
11?
An 8 for me. Perception.
Okay. Perception, yes.
8.
These cartoons are awesome.
I was going to say, Pim turned off the cartoons for Lockie, but not for himself.
Charles, you are standing there focusing intently on your scanner. And I think in part that's why you notice first. You are holding it out in front of you, and you begin to see the visual shake, almost imperceptibly at first. And you think, Why is that happening? Then you broaden your focus and realize that your arms are shaking just a little bit. But you don't feel weak or off-put like you're trembling. And then you look down to the ground and you see small pebbles just beginning to dance across the surface of the ground.
At that point, I'm like, Dimitri, ship down here now.
It's Godzilla!
And I'd say a moment before Charles calls that out, Lockie, you too would notice these little pebbles beginning to shake across the ground, as you also feel the rumble and kind of growing at your feet.
You should see this cartoon in 3D. It's almost like we're really shaking.
Dimitri brings the ship nearer to the ground, and
I just go, everyone back on the ship.
Okay. Can you all please roll me a luck save?
Oh no.
Even me?
Even you.
I'm shit at luck saves.
Okay, luck saves are a d20.
You're bad at all your saves.
Thank you for
Rory.
reminding me.
Oh, I actually succeeded.
1?
I rolled a 1.
Oh.
No.
I rolled a 19.
Well, together we make 20.
Alice?
13. So it's a save for me.
Safe for you? Okay. You are able to make it onto the vessel. Lockie, in your natural protective instinct, you make sure that the rest of your party are on board before you are the final one to board, I would assume.
I was going to say, I was also planning on firing a grapnel launcher at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel the trembling grow, but the ship is able to come to the ground, and everybody but you boards first. You feel the rumbling grow ever stronger during this time, and as you wrap your hand around one of the handles next to the door and turn your head over the shoulder, you see two of these large, lumpy space clouds, as we'll put them, kind of just a few, like about 50 to 60 meters away from the water, just kind of like going, just beginning to look like they are panicking, and they're kind of going, and there's a sense of concern and distress from these creatures. And Mikhail, who is in fact a massive dick, sees a massive worm.
Oh, it's June.
I was gonna say we've landed on Arrakis.
Erupts from beneath the planet, and in one motion consumes both of these space cows, and then just curves back over and goes back in.
I am going to quickly grab my compass and point it at the thing.
Okay.
Is it
Is
still
it what
like
we're after?
pointing at the ground, or?
It is still pointing at the ground. It's not pointing at this creature.
Okay, it's not a worm gate.
Lockie's just gonna cock his gun straight. Oh yeah.
Wormhole.
Fuck yeah.
Ah, lucky.
And then, as you see the spray of soil come up behind this creature, you can see that the rear of this creature seems to be made up of a cluster of tentacles that kind of spray up behind it, and as it goes back down into the ground, it seems the trembling begins to calm and subside, and then it's all just quiet once again. These the big space cows that were standing at the watering hole calm as well and return to their drinking and their grazing.
Funnily enough, I think there's a way to kill this without even needing to shooting it. Does anyone wish to hear me?
Why are we trying
can,
to kill
but-
it?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but getting to the center of the planet would be very hard through that thing.
Okay, well, let us face that when we get to it, I suppose.
But
Why
avoiding
not
killing
use
it
its
would-
holes? It
I was
digs.
gonna say we could check it out.
I think one of the easiest ways to get rid of it would be to strap some Molotovs to one of those cow things.
Why don't we try tame it? Ride it into the earth.
Lockie,
Yeah.
I love you like a brother. No.
Yeah. The beauty.
Ah. Loki, is it normal on your planet to try and tame wild beasts like this?
We don't really have that much wild beasts on my planet.
That explains a lot.
You have like I feel like goats would be one of the more common creatures on Uranus, just kept inside the domes.
Hmm.
In my studies, have I ever heard of a planet that has worms like this?
Roll me culture spacer.
Do we have-
Can I roll too, or
Yes, you may. If you're curious.
I'm proficient
would
in
that
that?
be with wisdom or intelligence?
Intelligence.
Intelligence, then it's a 6.
6,
9.
9.
Yeah, 7 on the dice.
In this moment, you're kind of taken aback by the absolute immensity and in Lockie's words, majesty of this creature. You're just like, okay, because it ate 2 of these creatures without slowing down.
Did
It's
it
big.
did it leave a hole behind or
You
It
haven't
placed an order
investigated.
and got takeaway.
But there is, in fact, a creature similar to this on a planet in this system, but it's a bit different. I'm just trying to recall the name of the planet. Hang on. I'd say, Charles, you aren't able to recall this detail in the moment, but Tim, you are.
Okay.
Is it the planet we dropped the psychic off on?
No, it is. It's a planet called Ojario. It's in hex 607, and it has a burning atmosphere. Ojario hex 607. I can actually show you guys the sector map.
Haven't seen that in
Been
a while.
yeah.
Uh-huh. So,
Oh, yeah,
gosh.
forgot this thing exists.
this is Ojario.
Hmm.
It is populated by very unusual. Lucky, you would recall information about Ojario if it's mentioned. The people of Ojario wear the equivalent of vac suits just everywhere because the surface of the planet is burning. But these vac suits are quite customized. The first customized job is they sacrifice any and all ability to heat the wearer, and all functionality is focused on cooling them. Second, they become something of a fashion statement, where designer clothiers will make trendy, mixable, matchable, customizable suits, and so there is the equivalent of a. Where's that really trendy fashion district in Tokyo called?
Shinjuku?
Akihabara?
Akibara, yeah. There's kind of
Why do I know that?
that kind of a style present. Also present on the planet are giant magma worms. They are described as being similar in size to these creatures, but they bore through the planet by virtue of their own massive internal heat. They basically melt the rock that they burrow through as they burrow, just because they themselves are so physically hot. In fact, Charles, can you make me a mental effect save?
I believe a Molotov will not work. Do we have a freezer tov?
I got grenades.
Again, not really what we're... Oh, actually...
That was a 4.
That was a 4. Charles, you're kind of you're situated in the storage hold of this thing and of the ship, and I'm just thinking to yourself about what you just saw, and you kind of feel flashbacks hitting you, like your vision is very rapidly switching out between what you're actually seeing and a memory, and it does that for a few seconds, and then your vision entirely settles on a memory, and you remember being back in the weird spectral pie chunks. One of the pie chunks was fire, and you investigated that, and you saw a vision of these giant magma worms ages ago. And seeing a creature so similar to them now kind of just like takes you out of it for a moment, and you spend some time just in this state of complete disarray, going before you kind of snap out of it and come to.
I imagine after like seeing all of that again, I would just sort of like slump against the wall of the ship and just sort of like, huh. I guess we should continue our scan from the air. And just sort of sit there and just think.
So, can I just say how chuffed I am that I remember that?
Yeah, I was like, because I've lost my paper. I had a piece of paper that had all of the different dreams on it, and I can't find it for the life of me.
No.
And it's driving me nuts.
Makes me really happy that I recalled that you saw that detail. Great. You Dallas?
Yes. During this time, while everyone's contemplating, Catalina, obviously realizing that these creatures are probably herbivores.
Yes.
And not actually that particularly dangerous to us as long as we don't provoke them. She's gonna get up with the jetpack and see what she can observe. Like properly observe.
What are you trying to observe?
Are there other creatures? Are there caves? The landscape? Things like points of interest? Pim asked if there were buildings. She didn't see anything before.
Okay, so I just trying to.
Pretty sure that was Lucky. But...
Was it
Lucky?
Oh, sorry.
Are you trying to search as much of the planet as you can, or just the immediate vicinity that you can see from the air?
More of whether there would be a better, like, a point of direction, I guess. A good point of direction that we could take from here.
Okay. Roll me tactics, please.
Tactics? Alright. No. Nothing
No?
I saw. No, 4.
4? Yeah. You, roll me, you do see various other, like, small grazing herds and groups of these creatures just meandering around the grasslands. Just chilling, just being all like, yum, 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 tasty grass, nom, 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 and that's about it.
Yeah. She doesn't really see anything new, but she's gonna stay up there and observe.
Okay.
If anyone asks her to look for anything in particular, she will, but otherwise she's just chilling. Chillin'.
I believe that is... The herbivores are probably the best way to get at the worms. and the worms are probably the best way to get to the core. I hate to say it, but we might need explosions. What am I kidding? I love to say it. Great talk, guys.
Catalina's up in the air. I don't know what you want from her.
Let's have a
Feedback.
look over at that hole it came through, see if it loosened up things a bit.
Okay, are you like walking over there, or having Dimitri fly you over there?
At the moment, probably fly is a better option.
Okay, he hovers you over in that direction, and kind of holds you as close as he can above the hole that it. Smooch, quiet. That it, he was just on my lap. Oh, it's because I closed the door. He's upset with me, dude. It's fine. So the hole that the worm broke through, and the hole that the worm went back into the ground through, are very similar. Both are now almost entirely sealed over with fresh earth. You have your thermal vision available to you, and you see that the soil that it burrowed through is warm compared to the rest of the surrounding soil. So the soil that it left behind when the tunnel closed behind it is warm and looks fresh. And can kind of just has left a small little crater.
Smooch is so not happy right now.
That's because Catch asked me to close the doors because she has a headache, and Smooch is upset because he wants to go where Catch is.
Well, let him out.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Cats are so needy. And watch as the cat wants back in like a minute.
Right?
Right? Yep. Mm-hmm. Classic cat.
It'd be filled up with soil, but it would probably be loose soil. That it's kind of just crapped out its butt.
I suppose we could just start digging.
I think you're right in the fact that it may return and think of us as a snack.
It's very probable.
Oh my god, it wasn't even a minute. Oh no. There he goes. Sorry, carry on. What's happening?
I'd rather not kill something if we could avoid it, but not gonna lie, it'd be fun to tackle that thing.
I'm more concerned that if we don't take care of it, it's going to take care of us when we try to get to our destination.
We can always deal with that if we have to.
I say we
but
do a
might
quick
be
sweep around the
overestimating.
planet.
Very well.
Who knows, maybe the compass is just pointing to the other side of the planet.
Potentially.
Look,
So
that's
you're-
very smart.
So you're just
I have my moments.
fly across the entire surface of the planet and investigate?
Just a quick loop-de-loop.
Okay.
Keep an eye on the compass as we go.
You do an entire loop of the planet. As you fly around, you can see that there is other terrain. Aside from savanna, there are larger lakes on this planet, kind of interconnected to each other. They all read as being fresh water as opposed to salt water. And the only other real biome is a pretty dense forest. It seems to occupy about a fifth of the surface of the planet. The next fifth is lakes, and then the remaining 3/5 is just savanna. Just like a rough estimate. And now that you know to look for them, Lucky, you do begin to notice that there are signs of other holes, of creatures breaching the surface of this planet and then diving back in, some fresher than others. But you don't see any around the forest.
What if I do a scan of the forest?
Okay. You give it a once-over with your thermal vision as Dimitri flies over.
Do you
Perception
ask,
check, please.
Catalina to
That
assist
is an
you?
8.
8?
Yes, if Catalina can assist, that would be lovely.
Yeah, if Roy will permit.
By all means.
I would try to help, but I don't think Pim can in this position.
What am I
It'd
rolling?
be. Oh yeah, I'm looking. You look now.
Perception.
No, I don't think I make it. It's a 6, I think.
That's okay. With your scan, Lucky, you would probably notice, upon instructing Dimitri to get closer and closer, there are heat signatures of varying sizes inside this forest. And as you get closer still and poke your head through some of the gaps in the canopy of the forest, you can see young. It seems that these space cows, for lack of a better term, breed inside the forest. And there's a variety of small mewing babies bouncing around after their parents.
Which tells me, not Catalina, but me, that there's probably something that eats or feeds off the worms in the forest. Or maybe the worms can't enter the forest because of the trees and the roots of the trees.
How big are these trees? Like, do they look like they've got deep rootage?
They look pretty large. And I guess if you're on the ground, you don't think there will be any branches, like reachable branches, for the first 5 meters, and these trees stand easily 30, 40 meters tall.
Okay, so pretty deep rooting then.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the cause.
Charles, upon seeing all this information with your scientific brain, this looks like a very effective, complete snapshot of a food chain.
A very simplified version of a food chain.
Yes. You've got food for the herbivores, and the herbivores are then themselves food for the worms. And given Nucleus's previous discussion about collecting interesting creatures, your guess is this surface terrain is entirely present just to comfortably sustain the worm's food source. And
Well, the reason they wouldn't be able to come up through the forest is because of the root system.
Exactly, and you would guess because this portion of terrain was taken on purpose, is the forest was taken to make sure that the space cows don't go extinct and can reproduce.
The compass is still pointing towards the center.
Everywhere you have gone across the surface of the planet, it is continuing just to point towards the center of the planet.
We've got 2 choices. We either start digging from the forest, or we dig through one of their holes.
The thing is, as soon as you get through the root system of the forest, the worms can then come at you either way.
Yeah, gives us some ground to work with there.
Potentially the water. The water is too... well, it'll rapidly cool the worms, and the root system likes to dig towards the water. If we find a common ground between the water system as well as the root system, we should be able to find an easy place to dig.
It'll also flood the hole, which should keep them at bay, hopefully.
Indeed.
And the thing is, how deep does the water go?
Well, given the parameter and radius of the planet, I assume it would go deep enough so that we could at least get to a certain point before needing to dig. The only problem at the moment is oxygen. I assume you can help us with that.
Well, we've all got vac suits on anyways. Or in power armor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that I am electrical.
This suit should be able to survive water.
I will be relying on you then.
But as most other harsh environments, let's get to digging. Let's find some deepest lake we can.
So your plan is to find a lake that has the deepest section, and then use the Vesuvius to just bore a hole.
You understand me, Rory. You understand me.
Your power supply is limited with the Vesuvius, I will say.
I know.
But it's a good start.
Okay.
Okay, but are we doing this without thinking? Is it possible that there is actually a way down there and we're just choosing to take the most brute, simple force through? I mean,
That is what I'm worried about.
The shortest point between two is a straight line.
that's true. However, you're an AI. If you had to make a challenge like this that was to test the strength and skill and intelligence of a creature, would you
If I was to create something like this and give the amount of information I did, I would be doing it as to set an example. Overthinking is one of the greatest issues that most people have. Overthinking is what creates distance between people and their goal. If you overthink something for too long, the statute of limitations of completing the trial go, well, out the window, for lack of a better term. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the best, and I believe that is the irony that Nucleus is trying to play. But that is just my opinion. Not all AIs are alike.
Okay, well, if this is where you think, might as well go
We can
for
get
it,
Dimitri to do some more scans around the planet, see if there's other ways while we start. It's gonna take a while afterwards, after all.
Do we have equipment to do land scans or like beneath the surface scans as we go? Or like surface scans as we go?
Surface scans, I would say yes, and probably to a certain depth as well.
Okay. Kit says find the corridor.
The corridor?
Door core, you know, the core for the door.
Okay,
Door.
so y'all have a plan. You're going to attempt to implement, and I think now's a good point for us to maybe go for a break because it's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yes, indeed.
People
Yes, and doodle.
people can do a bathroom. People can do another thing. We will attempt to be back in like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, we aim for 10, but with ADHD and ADD for most of us, we end up looking more like 15. But hey, we try. That's what counts, right? That's what counts.
Indeed.
All that matters.
Our brains are kind of dumb.
Yep, we will return shortly after a
Indeed.
break.
See you all in a bit. Bye. Welcome to our absolute disaster of a stream.
Almost on time. What do you mean disaster of a stream? We're doing really well.
I'm anticipating.
Oh. Sorry, I do not have any demolition packs, Rory.
Good! Flippin' good!
I've got some grenades, but that's about it.
So, y'all are hanging out observing, but we'll have to commit to something sooner and or later. So, what's your plan?
Well, let's set up some charges on the surface to distract the worms or something. Put them on timers or something. Or, you know, we could set a horde free.
I would like to do as little damage and destruction and disruptions as possible if we can.
Yeah, so we'll keep the worm going after other stuff instead of us.
Is possible.
If you got better ideas, I'm all ears.
Not really, no. Just...
I think probably seeing the rest of the planet might be an idea before we start.
At this point, I'm just willing to accept any decision.
If we think about this, there is what is the probability of there being something below the surface for observation?
88.9%.
For observation of people, of things other than the creatures on this small biome planet.
Again, 88.9%.
Right. So there should be an entrance. We do not have to find a place to dig. We could, but that
You are running on the assumption that life forms are the ones that are going to be coming into this planet. As an AI, it is not good to leave openings.
Okay, but what do we know about the people that created this? They had a fluid form, is this correct?
Yes.
All I'm saying is we should think about this outside of our immediate situation and think on a larger scale to help us direction ourselves. It might give us a better idea of where to start digging if we need to dig, is all I'm saying.
Well, I did say we should have a look over the planet. We've already done one loop.
We need to land.
I think my guess, which anyone is welcome to disagree, is that if I was going to make a place where I wanted to be able to enter below the surface, I would want it to be safe, away from the big worms. So I would put it in the forest, because they don't go there. That is just my
That
thinking.
runs the assumption that they would place it there. Keep in mind the herbivores can enter. On
Yes,
top of that,
but they
it
do
is...
not disrupt the earth.
To be fair, I know what you're saying, but it can't be that easy.
Can it not? Did you not just say before that sometimes we are overthinking?
I said that sometimes we shouldn't overthink or spend too long thinking. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the best.
Well, this seems simplest to me, but...
Let's do a quick scout of the forest, get this out of the way, and move on, instead of sitting here talking about it.
Okay,
That
no
is
problem.
my opinion.
No problem, let's do this.
If that don't work, we think of something else. And if that don't work, we think of something else. But let's do it.
We are running out of time, so we should do something.
Okay, so the plan is to investigate the forest more thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to disembark from the ship in order to do that, because it can't feasibly fly past all the trees and all the branches.
Fine to do that.
Okay, you park the ship at the edge of the forest, and the four of you disembark from the vessel and go for a bit of a constitutional, shall we say, walking around the forest. Can everybody roll me either perception or tactics as you cast your gaze around this place and see what you notice?
That is another 11.
That
Nice.
is a 7, so just.
That is a 2.
Oh my
Mine's a
God.
7 for tactics, by the way.
Okay.
I rolled 4. 3 and a 1.
Mm-hmm.
What are we rolling? Sorry, tactics.
Tactics or perception. Yeah.
They're the same for me because it's with wisdom anyway.
Yep.
This is not my strong suit, so Catalina is useless. A 5.
5? Okay. Wait, so Lockie got 7.
Yep.
Charles got 11. Lockie, you are paying a lot of attention to some of the tactical advantages of being here from the perspective of the creatures. The theory about big chunky roots are looking accurate. These trees have large roots, many of which are breaking free of the surface of the soil, like kind of coming up and digging back down. And just the surface roots you can see, they are big and they are thick. And using your various phases of vision, you can see just below the surface a very intricate and interconnected series of interlocking tree roots. A worm would be remiss to try and burrow through here. And as you walk around going, smart worm. Where smart space cows. Charles, you look over and you can see various small clearings. Actually, you would probably see a space cow in labor. And like hear it in labor too, just being like space cow baby noises, I don't know.
Someone clip that, please.
What?
I feel dirty.
Why did I feel the need to narrate that sound? I don't know. Moving on. So you see a very mucusy baby space cow just staggering around, trying to stand. So yet another similarity to human cows. The young are able to stand quite quickly after birth and are just staggering around, having a romp. But with an 11, though, there is something interesting that you would notice. You look up and around at the trees, and you can see kind of nestled into certain parts of where branches meet the main trunk are like weird hollow sections. And that doesn't make sense to you. You don't understand why it is that the tree would grow this way unless there was something there forcing it to take that shape. And you just look up at the branch, this weird angle, and go, that's odd. It's very odd.
Is there a branch on the ground, like a fallen branch?
Probably yes. Yeah.
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 I walk up to the nearest fallen branch, stand on top of it, and then lift myself.
It's a bit wobbly, but you are able to steady yourself and plant your feet as you float up and towards this place. And what you see is like a freshly carved nook. You can see exposed wood in a perfect sphere, just in between space between the trunk and the branch. And as you kind of crane your head around, you can see that this spherical curvature continues inside one of these trees.
I'm going to grab my compad,
Mm-hmm.
turn its camera on,
Mm-hmm.
and start floating it down.
Okay.
the hole?
You will have some limitations because your
Visual
sight,
range, yes.
your sight is important. I'd say you are able to fit. Like the hole is large enough that you can, at the very least, poke your head into the hole because these are big trunks. So
Yeah.
you can fit your head, helmet and all, into the hole, but it doesn't seem quite big enough to fit a person. At least not a person wearing a spacesuit. And you poke your head in, turn on the helmet flashlights, and just float your camera down as it records. It goes down and down and down until it reaches just the edge of your perception range, and you go, oh!
Bring it back.
Yep, you feel it. If you went further, you drop it. You just pull it back up, hold it, and check the footage. Once you get beyond the actual height of the trunk, so after about going down 5-6 meters, the walls of this tunnel go from being wood to being solid rock, like carved, bored out rock, and it continues like that for as long as you can see. But unfortunately, you do not see an end to this hole.
Can I tell about where this hole would be near the base of the trunk?
It is at the center of this entire tree. So
I just stand there. Lockie,
Yo-hoy!
as I float my way back down to the ground. Over here.
It's
I
a
want
tree.
you to aim just here and fire Vesuvius.
Is this like one of them trust exercises?
The tree is hollow in the center.
Oh,
Something's made a path through the ground into rock underneath.
Lucky, bypass this Twinkie exterior to get to the cream.
How strong does this wood look?
reasonably strong.
Do I think the monoblade could cut through it?
If the monoblade was configured more like an axe, possibly. But yours is like a big old sword, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're concerned about conserving charge, you do think that with enough time you could just cut this tree down with your sword.
Lucky's feeling extra strong today, so
And
I think
very
he'd save some energy.
Lumberjacky.
Especially with Mr. Blood back on board the ship,
Mm-hmm.
in case he decides to suckle some energy.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Lucky will carve a hole into it rather than cut it.
Okay, you pull forth your monoblade sword. Roll me strength athletics, please.
Yeah, this I can do.
Choppity chop.
That is a 13.
Yep, that tracks. You go. Pull forth your blade. It shines as a speckle of sunlight. Hits it through the canopy. You wind up, and just one-handed go. Whack! 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 And it takes you less than a minute to just carve a rough hole in the side of this tree, exposing the interior.
In his most terrible impersonation of Dimitri. Da, there is door.
Yes, there is door. Is it big enough for me to go to the hole?
What do you mean?
Like what he's carved into the tree.
Can he fit through the door?
You can get right up to the door and poke your head in, but again, your shoulders in the suit are too broad and too wide to fit.
I'm
Hey,
just like,
Catalina,
The
glow bug me.
sure. How many do you want?
Yeah, just 1, 2.
Okay. Opens up the pouch full of glow bugs.
Oh
slap,
my god.
Slap.
Actually,
Not on me.
like attach one glow bug
My
each,
suit's
like,
got headlamps. I don't
Where-
need it.
where his eyes are.
She like
These little glow bugs just like.
she just
Catalina,
slapped him
while
on
I
your
know
shoulder.
Catalina, while I know you need to consume iron, no one said anything about lead.
I'll grab the glow bugs, activate them, and drop them down the hole so that we can see just how far this actually goes.
Okay. You poke your head in. Are you dropping one at a time or just both at once?
Both at once.
Okay.
And I'm going to pop my head in so that the not only I can see, but also the Argus web can record it as well,
Okay.
in case I miss something as it happens.
In goes your head, and the glow bugs disappear out of sight. Just gonna
Does it look like it widens up at any point for the part that I do see it falling?
roll me a perception check.
Can I assist?
You may, as you are reviewing the footage, as it were. And Pim, for your assist, I will allow it to be intelligence because you are actively analyzing it as opposed to
Good,
just
that
trying
makes it an 8 instead of a 6.
In that case, it is a 10 total.
10 total. Okay. As it kind of disappears out of sight, it must be 200, maybe 250 meters down, but you do begin to see a minor widening, just like a fraction of a second of a flash of widening before the bug just disappears from sight altogether.
So there is no way that Lockie is fitting down this hole.
Does everyone trust me?
Oh, but
Oh, we trust you, Pim. Why? What do you think?
Okay.
Ejects, goes down hole.
I
was going to say
Okay, I guess.
we're doing that together, because while Lockie was looking in the hole, Charles has taken off his entire suit, and he just sort of goes, "Lockie, move for a second."
before he moves, he's going to attach the grapnel cable to Charles.
How
As
long
a
is the cable?
precaution. That is a very good question.
Hmm.
Let me bring up.
I'm making you do adventure things. You're using glow bugs. You're figuring out how much rope you have.
I'm just glad I remembered that Catalina had them, because
Catalina,
the Lockie doesn't.
Yep, Catalina has a bunch of rope as well. So does Dimitri.
Oh, you have rope? How much rope do you have?
We.
Uh,
I packed a massive duffel bag full of like extra stuff. So she would have
we've
probably
got-
grabbed 2 ropes. Dimitri also has a rope.
40 meters per grapnel, and it contains 6 shots in it.
Yeah, I'd say if you're willing to disassemble some of your grapnel shots and combine it with lengths of cord from Catalina, you would be able to get like a 300-meter rope and just attach it all together.
They can carry a metric ton of weight, so I don't have to worry about them snapping.
Indeed. So
But yeah, I'll basically start lowering him down. As I need more, I'll attach more.
okay.
Keep going.
So while you were getting all this set up, Pim has run ahead.
Yes, he has.
So
Because Pim
I'm gonna say
does
I
not
probably
care.
Wouldn't have waited.
sorry.
I probably wouldn't have waited because I can just float myself down.
But Lockie doesn't think about space magic. Lockie thinks about logic survival, and Lockie is bigger
that's
than
the
you.
thing. The moment he started looking at his grapnel launchers and stuff, Charles would have just like sort of taken a step towards the hole and then just gone, "I'll see you in a bit," and then just floated down.
So
After Pim going, "Pim, I'm right behind you."
so
I need like the TikTok meme where it's like, whee!
Alright, you do that. Lockie's going to turn to Catalina and go, So if I drop a rock, it'll reach terminal velocity before it hits him, won't it?
You're still on microphone.
It's
That
possible.
was the point.
Do you want to test it?
No one would ever know.
The perfect murder.
So, Pym and Charles, you are both descending. Pym, I imagine of the many features you built into your little scarab, little headlights would be a feature.
Yeah, and wall crawling. I wanted
Yeah.
to make this like a literal scuttler.
Yeah, so your little headlights flash on, and you go just crawling down to the side of this cylindrical passage.
Good.
I said, don't worry about a thing, 'cause I have little legs, and I am scouting.
As you make it about 20, 30 meters down, the light that you can sense coming from above you darkens as a vaguely Charles shape floats above you and just begins to descend down the hole above you.
I'm probably going a little bit slower than he is because I
Okay.
can descend 20 meters per round.
Okay, so Pym, crawling all the way down, you are able to track your progress. Are you sharing your feed with the people on the surface, or just going down?
Oh, of course. I don't need an Argus web. I am one.
Okay.
As we go down.
Yeah, so I'd say lucky by default, as you're trying to pick out the perfect rock to commit the perfect murder, you have like a little picture-in-picture in your HUD of a Pym scurrying down.
Catalina is also helping with grabbing random rocks. But actually, she's not grabbing rocks. She's grabbing foliage, like not I don't know, the equivalent of say acorns and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You throw a few more. Suddenly, scrap lands on Charles's head.
Okay. Pym, you make it down to the bottom first, and you see a very interesting sight.
Indeedy.
You begin to get a more thorough picture of what's going on inside this planet, and you can see. So imagine, if you will, the surface. Like this planet is a big sphere, because it is a big sphere, and then cut it in half. Looking inside, the surface of the planet would go down for a certain point. Then most of the physical mass of the planet just disappears. You look in and you can see a massive empty cavern. But continuing below that, you can see another curved sphere, kind of. You describe it as the core of the planet.
Is the gravity here non-existent or very strong?
The gravity is a bit interesting here because it does seem to feel. I'd say that it is. It is less because gravity is all about being pulled towards something with great mass, and because you're going into the center of the planet, the amount of mass acting on you from the surface is less.
Drops to zero almost, yeah. A lot of people think it gets stronger, but the moment you hit the actual proximity of a core, all gravity actually dissipates.
So you look around and imagine that the surface of the cavern you are in is a big sphere, and on the inside of that sphere, it's covered in stalactites, spiky rocks around you as far as you can see.
What's the heat or the temp?
The temp is it's a little bit spicy where you are. It's getting towards 70 or 80 degrees Celsius.
That's well within my parameters. Yep.
And as you look down, you can see why. Because this second sphere, kind of at the core of the planet, that has a variety of columns and shafts connecting the top to the bottom, is covered in stalagmites. And just kind of weaving in between the stalagmites are little rivers of lava. And as you look around and go, that's interesting. A worm erupts out of the side, or out of the ground or ceiling not far from you, bursts through, pulls its body physically almost all the way through, and then just kind of stops. Those little tentacles that you saw at the back of it, it then begins to use them as little legs and basically wraps all the tentacles around the dozens of stalactites on the ceiling and just starts to like crawl around with this big long worm body just free floating in space, kind of basking in the heat of the core of the planet.
Dr. Charles, how do you feel about holding my life in your hands?
I'm not quite there yet. What do you mean?
Well, when you get here, for one, don't come out. For two, it's kind of hot. For three, there's a giant worm. And four, I'm probably going to need help navigating. As, while I may be able to use gravitational propulsion, I do not want to release it into the air too much, as it might attract, Worm Boy. I'm gonna call it Thresher.
Charles, as you are descending, you are beginning to feel beads of sweat forming on your brow, and it is getting noticeably hotter down here. It's like you open an oven and there's just like a wave of heat kind of growing around you as you descend. It's beginning to get a bit uncomfortable.
Part of me wants to know if I leave an egg in here to free float, will it boil?
I imagine it would if up here is any idea of how hot it's getting down there.
Well, I might need rescuing. So keep your space magic handy, yes?
Sure.
Okay, and I'm sorry.
And I'm gonna leap into the zero gravity part.
How far am I away from the hole?
I would say like 100 meters.
Right. I'm gonna pull out my compad real quick and check the compass.
Uh-huh.
Is it still pointing towards the core?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Well, not really, but that's fine.
I need to move quicker, so I'm going to try and move quicker.
Okay. How are you going to do that? Just by throwing caution to the wind?
I am going to let go of the telekinesis of the thing I'm holding and free fall. And then try and catch myself as I hit the center pocket.
That's one way to do it, yeah.
Because the problem is,
That's pretty bad.
use
though,
my
because the closer-
use my
yeah.
telekinesis to catch you. I was going to need to come out anyway because I need to turn around because I fell into the hole feet first. So at the moment, I am looking at my feet while falling, and I see the hole, but I need to get to it quickly. So I'm just going to be like, well, drop the telekinesis and catch myself at the bottom. And hope I don't die.
I'm okay. I can propel myself for zero gravity.
Okay. What's the surface team doing?
Well, unless Lockie tells me about what's happening, Catalina's...
You're getting a feed as
Because
well.
Lockie doesn't know what's happening either. They just
Catalina
jumped down
doesn't have a compad. She has no idea what's happening.
Oh, then you're screwed.
I thought we got you a new one.
We also got her a watch.
Yeah, we
she
did get
has
you a
the
new one.
watch, but
You have combat functionality in your vac suit or
Yeah,
your
you're in the
your
armor.
armor.
okay.
Your armor has combat.
She just doesn't want to watch that. That's
No, no, he doesn't.
Doesn't want to
She's
watch
like,
us
that's
kill each other.
responsibility. I don't want that.
Yeah, no, I'm not for that.
I ain't about that life.
Ain't about that life.
Bye, Felicia.
Okay then, I guess.
Seeing Charles in free fall,
Mhm.
Lockie is going to time the distance he falls till he gets out.
To what end?
So that I can get a rough idea of how long it would take for an object to free fall down that distance from the top of the hole to the bottom of the hole.
Still planning his murder.
The Rock.
In case Lockie needs to come in full force.
Yeah, here's the thing, Lockie. You are now quite large.
Yeah, I don't mean physically Lockie, but a cluster of grenades can fall down there.
Oh!
I'm
And with
scared.
and
We
with a
do
t-
not want to be in that hole if he throws grenades in there.
And
Yeah,
with
we
a
don't wanna
timed
kill the
fuse
worms.
set
We
to
wanna
the
be
exact
nice and
amount of
not kill the
time.
worms.
I know,
Let's just
this is
bomb the core.
precautionary measures.
Just destroy a planet. Alright,
Yeah.
King Kai is gonna be pissed off.
Precautionary measures. If, for whatever reason, we need it, Lockie will know the exact timing that he needs for a grenade to hit the core when it blows up.
Okay, Lockie, roll me tactics with intelligence.
Okay.
Can I, like, spin in the air like a jellyfish?
We will cut back to you in a moment.
That
Oh.
is an 11.
11.
Oh.
You believe that given the ordinary fuse time of a grenade, you could pull a pin, have it make it all the way to the bottom, and have a second or two before it goes off.
Oh shit, that's pretty quick.
What if you piff it really hard?
Well,
Good
that's already
question.
more time than I need. I'd already want to cook the grenade before it gets down there anyways.
Interesting. Okay, Pip. You are beginning to free float to a certain extent because you're right. The gravity is very weird here. There's gravity pulling on you from beneath and gravity pulling on you from above because there are comparable kinds of mass around. And I'd say the surface of the planet wins. So you jump out, and you enter into like a wide arc of just flying through the air. Wonderful, scuttly bug guy floating around, and you see yourself taking the form of an arc, and you are gradually being pulled back towards the spikes of these ceilings.
Fair enough. Can I aim my little propulsion belt away from it?
Towards what?
I want to move towards where the compass is pointing. I assumed it was pointing at the core.
It is pointing at the core, so you're trying to extend your arc to make it so that you intercept with the core.
Essentially.
Yeah, sure thing. Roll me relevant skill. What's a relevant skill for that?
Athletics, I guess.
Sure. It'll scare me. Athletics. Just go.
Or tactics.
Yeah.
Tactics would also work in that situation.
You know what?
Whatever it is, I
would
rolled
also,
11 on the dice.
I would also allow science because it is you trying to time your
With
thing.
intelligence, or?
Yeah, sure.
Or
Well, then
vehicle air.
Vehicle.
Or vehicle space, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, you're in a vacuum, so you're not.
Either way, it's still a 13.
Yeah, you're able to time your little arc toot just so your curve launch takes you off towards the center of the planet. And I feel like this is not a
We.
I need a more grungy underground soundtrack. We haven't done cave shenanigans in this campaign yet. Just a moment. I must obtain peak aesthetic.
Are you seeing this, Lockie?
Pretty incredible.
You'll do.
I'm a pilot now. Yay. Well, not that I wasn't a pilot before.
There we go.
Missing out on all the.
Hey, Catalina, do you think if you ate this core, it'll help your condition?
Isn't it like stupid hot? No.
What? You said you like Molotovs.
Duh.
So, Pim, you
Technically, it's alcohol.
you are currently
Of
flying
course.
towards the core of this planet, but Charles was right behind you.
He's gonna catch himself.
Yeah. So, Charles, roll me telekinesis, please.
Please catch yourself. Because if you don't, you're literally, because of the build-up of gravimetrical kinetic force, you're going to come out of that hole like a railgun, which is kind of worrying to me.
So that's an 8 on the dice, plus 2 for telekinesis, plus 2 for wisdom.
Heck
12.
yeah.
So 12.
Well,
Good.
where do you want to stop? Is my question.
Basically, probably in the center of the two gravitational pulls.
Okay. Yeah,
So
cool.
a little bit closer to the core, but far enough away that like I can sort of see where this worm is at.
Okay.
You're entering the large sphere.
I'm not entering the lava sphere, I'm getting close to it. It's going to be warm.
Just one. I'm just gonna Google.
Rory doing a Google. Did we do a bamboozle?
I'm gonna make an estimated guess. Are you googling the temperature at which blood will boil?
General data about burns. Okay.
Oh, it depends on the type of burn. I took that course.
A high temperature, more than 80 degrees Celsius, can cause more severe burns in a very short period of time, less than a second. Okay. Good to know. Charles, you drop your telekinesis and do find yourself hurtling very rapidly into fire. And immediately you see that your suit is beginning to react to the heat. And also so is your skin. The air around you, as you get closer towards the core of this planet, is rapidly increasing in heat, and you are seeing and feeling burns beginning to spread across all of the areas of exposed skin, and probably more. What do you do?
Could have kept the vac suit on.
I
Couldn't
couldn't.
fit.
I couldn't fit down the hole if I had it on. The question is, how quickly can I get back into it?
Did you bring it with you?
Yeah, because they fold up into a ball.
Yeah, fair.
That's the whole point of them.
It takes you about 10 minutes to put on a vac suit properly.
Psychic vac suit?
I can't. Not without taking a dose of regalia.
I'm going to have to ask you to commit to a decision very, very, very quickly.
Back up the hole.
Very quickly, is there anywhere around that I can, like, hide away?
From the heat, no.
No? Cool. Give me 1 second. I need to figure out something.
You're basically in a fan-forced oven.
Yeah, basically.
I need to read something. Just give me 1 second.
Do you think they're okay down there, Loki?
So I have a pressure tent.
Uh-huh. Yes.
If I was to activate it in the 0G section, it gives me a comfortable area and a breathable atmosphere for 24 hours for a type power cell. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to float into the 0G section, pull out the little box that is my pressure tent, activate it, and then fly into it.
How long does it take to activate the pressure tent?
It's like the
With your current poker power, you can defense curl in about a minute.
it's like the instant panel. It's a pressure
Oh.
tent like an instant panel.
So you pull out this big metal cylinder, your skin is peeling and blistering, and you're like, you twist a handle and pull it out, and then just rapidly expanding in front of you is this big. How many people can occupy this tent?
5.
4 or 5, yeah.
5 at a stretch.
This
5
big
thing.
4-person tent just goes in front of you as you're floating through this space, and you hastily unzip it with your telekinesis, pull yourself inside, and go close it up, and now you're just in this tent. Floating.
And I'll give myself a quick heal, and then I'm gonna instantly start donning my vac suit.
Okay, you took. I want to kill you, but I've got to know.
For those who don't know, educational-wise, the actual temperature of the Earth's core is 5,200 degrees.
Yes, but the Earth
This is much smaller.
This is much smaller, yes.
Charles?
But still, that is a large comparison.
Charles, you took 16 points of damage before you made it into the tent.
Damn.
I was 2 away from being unconscious and dead.
You almost did a Catalina there, let's be honest.
So yeah, I'm gonna heal myself.
I built my scarab for temperatures.
Ooh,
So-
nice. That is 10. Sorry, give me 1 sec.
That's okay. You take care of that and track all on your own. Pim, you are scurrying around on a stalagmite on the core of this planet. You look up and you hear a
I'm gonna clip it. After recording it, I'm gonna clip it and play it on repeat
just
for Lockie and Catalina, and I'm gonna caption it as "I'm Charles, I'm helping."
Catalina's
now-
just gonna look at Lucky like, do you think they're okay down there, or should we try and start making our way down? Like,
Yeah, you might be able to fit, but there ain't no way I'm fitting even naked.
she looks at him. You're significantly larger than before.
Yeah. I filled out.
Are you seeing anything that I'm not seeing through the feed? Mostly it's just lava, tentacles, and a core. I'm gonna try and head towards where the compass is pointing me, if that's okay.
Sure. Without knowing what we need to
From what I can see, I'm the only one who can survive down here because of the custom voyage I put into the Scarab. Everyone else would probably burn to death.
Look, Pim,
The
if
power
you...
armor actually can survive that temperature.
Yeah, but you can't get down there.
Yeah. Lucky is going to, knowing that he can't do much, is going to attempt to befriend one of the baby cow things.
Of course he is.
Fucking do it.
Base cow!
We'll keep it in the hydroponics bag. Who cares?
Yeah.
God, that's so cute. I can't even.
I'm imagining that, like after the fall, and how the Junkers, was it the Junkers that worshipped Oprah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lockie's planet worships Steve Irwin.
I wouldn't put it past them too.
No. At this point, it is not Steve Irwin. It is blessed be to the mighty Irwin dynasty, because we're seeing what his son is doing right now. That family is going to care about animals for hundreds of years.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna scour and.
Some
try
say
to get
Lockie
to...
is a direct descendant of the Irwin.
But that's purely speculation.
Yes.
Pim is gonna search for the center compass point.
Okay. You are scuttling around. Can you please roll me a perception check? And Charles, can you
okay.
please make me post-tech roll?
Holy shit! I just rolled double fives. So +1, -1, 10.
Okay. I'm going to start with Christians first, just because it's funny to me. I can't hear you.
It's a 7.
7? Okay. You are having an interesting time. So, I need to do... I really just need to physically illustrate this. Hang on.
Give me a sec. I want to watch.
Here we have
Here we are.
a blank canvas. And we have...
Wait, I can't.
Our 2 spheres. Pim is currently scuttling around on the surface of this one right down here, being all sleuthy and stuff, whereas you are taking a very interesting path through space. So you came in quite fast, and you pulled out your pressure tent and hopped inside. In my mind, the funniest path that you would be taking and the most scientifically logical would be that of a really awkward arcing parabola. So you are doing kind of this motion inside this place as the competing forces of gravity affect you.
Can't
And
see
also
what you're doing.
Yeah, we couldn't see the motion.
Sorry.
Oh, there it is. It just loaded in.
No!
And
He's a bobbing planet in orbit.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that you are able to maintain a very unpleasant arc because every time the arc gets you too close to the spikes, your pressure tent partially impales itself on one of the spikes and then bounces you off it and begins the arc in you. So you are kind of arc pinballing between the 2 surfaces of this spheroid nonsense while trying to struggle and put your back suit on as you're being like bounced and jostled around.
It's like, yep.
Do I have a speaker on my little scarab?
Probably.
Would it be bad if I started playing Flight of the Valkyries as this was happening?
When has that ever stopped you before?
Good point. I'm going to start playing Flight of the Valkyries as this is happening.
I'm thinking more of like a circus thing, like do 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 do.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Or maybe the Benny Hill theme tune. Yeah.
No, in a movie, this would just be the slow motion of him just bouncing around in there. Just
So,
I'm so
Interesting.
concerned for you guys.
Pim, you see this like bonkers comical arc of
Yeah.
just a tent bouncing around above you, but you're like, yeah, that's funny, but I've got a job to do, and you begin to scurry around,
Skitter-scutter. Yeah.
scurry, and you are able to locate something
Mm-hmm.
on the surface of this hot spheroid covered in spikes. You can see a small glowing sphere just floating in the air,
Pre-tech? Or
and
alien tech?
it just has wrapping around it the same phrase. It just says exit.
Oh, so they have to get here. Oh.
And then you look up and you go, Charles, look at him go, that's so funny. And you play and at that moment, the large worm that has been in here the entire time snaps its head to attention, looks right at the source of this sound, and goes,
Oh boy.
and that's where we're going to end this session.
Oh, you motherfucker!
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna move behind the orb. It'd be really funny if it jumps into the orb and gets teleported out of the exit and then appears, and then Nucleus is like, wow, that's not supposed to happen.
Oh goodness.
God damn it, the worm got out of its cage again.
Oh jeez, what are we gonna do, man?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
That is a good question. I tell you what I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna not keep playing that song next time. As much as our lives are in danger, alright? YOLO.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You only live once, and at this point, not for much longer.
That's alright. That's alright. I'm pretty sure if I jump like down underneath it and start skittering between the stalagmites, it'll just become an asshole and try to catch me and then probably hurt itself.
Jeez, alright,
Well, at least we know where the exit is now and how to get there.
the next question is, who are we raiding?
Yeah.
We have concluded a lot more quickly than I was initially anticipating. However, one, that was just too good of a place to end it in my mind, and two, I honestly didn't think combat through in that kind of setting as thoroughly as I would have liked. So I'd like a week, please.
In other words,
Why
I
not?
was expecting you to fight these guys on the surface, not in the middle of a zero-G playground.
Maybe a little bit.
Rory,
No, Catalina said don't do that. So
when do we ever do what you expect us to, Rory?
Not ever, and that's why I had a very small amount of notes for this entire planet. I had a very loose outline of what was happening here, and thought,
it doesn't tremor sense. It listens. It's got like really good hearing.
well,
That's interesting.
The thing is, it could be looking for a repetitive beat, like us walking
A
towards the
rhythm.
cows
If you walk without rhythm.
caused it to come towards us, and then you start playing music, and all of a sudden it's like Well, hello there.
Yeah, but like I remember in like Dune when they were like talking or stuff like that, it didn't attract the worm.
Yeah, but thing once again, haven't seen, haven't read Dune. All of my science fiction.
Wait a second,
Stuff?
this is another thing we're adding to the list.
Mm-hmm. All of my science fiction nonsense is entirely fueled by my own brain. So I make things and make decisions based on what my brain thinks makes sense, not based on what some other writer thought made sense.
Okay, well, you need to be studied.
What? It's fine. Look, I'm going to show you guys a picture of what this delightful wormy boy looks like, because I did draw him.
Oh, lovely.
My favorite.
Okay.
Who's in the
Yeah.
chat at the moment? Who are we rating out of the question?
I have been looking into that this entire time.
There's 17 people viewing us. Nice.
Yeah. We've had a pretty solid crowd tonight.
Hey everybody! I hope you've enjoyed my nonsense.
Yeah, it helps that Clava, who I'm gonna shout out. So if you're not following him, you should. Gave us a raid pretty early on with like 21 people. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
Clava
Veneselda is streaming.
Fantastic bean.
Nerds of the West is streaming. Polish Cryptid is streaming.
Love chat. Where's the heckin' Discord?
I hate to love and leave, but I think I've got to go.
No, that's okay.
That's reasonable. There we go.
I might be on later, but love, guys. And thank you, everyone, for watching me fuck up. Bye.
Bye.
Toodaloo.
Yes. That is what this wormy boy looks like.
Where? What? Where is it?
In a glove chat.
Ah. It's ugly. Not your drawing, just the creature. In general.
Oh, you wounded me, madam.
No, you've done a fantastic design
Right.
of designing a terribly grotesque creature.
That is very much more like a Tremors worm.
Yeah.
With the tentacles coming out the front of it, that's very much like Tremors.
And coming out the back as well. So essentially, it has a whole mess of tentacles at the base of it that it is using to hold on to all the stalactites in its it is probably its true terrain. It's evolved to move around here with the tentacles scuttling around.
Gross. Did you want to post? Oh, you did. You did.
Yeah, I did.
Yep.
I'm getting better.
Yep. No. I appreciate you, Rory. You are fantastic.
And yeah, it's pretty big. Now, what is this? Why did you clip that?
What?
Agent Kit, I finally rewatched the sound of me making an alien cameo for Agent Kit. How could you? I didn't need to hear that a second time. Oh, are we raiding? Please just take me away from this.
Really, Romney? I will give you laughs because it got me, but
I'm gonna have a look at the chat. Also, I'm thoroughly amused that Charles is potentially entering combat while inside a volleyball.
Oh my god.
yeah, it's not far off it.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to begin. Normally Catalina's the one that's in the thick of it, and she's not.
So you're probably the only person that could survive down here without any problem.
No. She would still have problems. Her skin is still prone to melting, even if it is more metallic. She's not immune to melt. To liquefy.
Like, unless you landed on the core itself, it wouldn't get hot enough.
Right. So our job here is to figure out a way to get everyone to the door. That's the
Our
problem.
job here is to figure out whether or not I can move that orb with telekinesis up the hole and out back into the open.
Right. It's probably connected to a power source. of
Something
some
for
kind,
Rory
though.
to think on.
I've already made that decision.
Okay. But yes, like at the moment, unless there is another hole that's bigger that we can fit a ship down, getting out of here is going to be difficult.
Yes. Yes, it is.
But at the moment, we've got to deal with the worm so we can have a proper look around the cabin.
Do we? Do we even need to look around the cabin? Don't we just have to get out? Just ignore everything and go.
Yes, but if I can't move the orb, then I'm going to have to look around the cabin to see if there's anything big enough that we can fit something down here with. Otherwise, we're following a worm.
True.
I mean, if
Actually,
if one of the big space worms functions like a regular worm, then it has to eat everything it goes through. And logically, you'd think there probably would be a period of time where the thing it ate is still warm and slurryish enough to pass through it yourself.
I was also thinking Molly may be able to help.
Interesting.
So if we could control one enough that we could direct it towards the core and have the ship right behind it, we might be able to get through.
Interesting.
Potentially, yeah.
But it also means getting myself and Pim the fuck out of here. We'll see how that goes.
I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. So, whom shall we raid?
It's entirely up to you guys what you'd like to do. Ven and Kelda and all those other ones, they're all streaming at the moment. They've been streaming for a few hours, but they might still be going for a while. Polished Cryptid only has a couple of people.
Well, let's go share some
Let's
love
go
with
polish.
Polished Cryptid.
Yeah, sure.
They've only got a couple of folks.
And they're doing a charity one too.
Oh,
Well-
even better.
We'll pass along the love.
Yeah.
Where's the love?
It's been a while, I think, since we raid them anyway.
Where is the blub? Where is the blub?
We know where the blub is. It's back on the ship.
Where does the blub live? Blub, 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 blub.
Let's raid. Raid quick.
I'm ready now. Thank you all, and we'll catch you on our Sunday stream for D&D. Hopefully we'll see you there, and hope you have a good one, y'all. Toodaloo, folks.
Oh no.
Bye.
Poor Clava.
Wait, what happened to Clava?
He fell asleep and only just came back.
It's fine, Clava. It's all good. We'll catch you up. Have a good one. Toodaloo.
See ya.